This is CBC Here and Now.
Well, it's about to become official. The provincial election campaign is set to get underway.
You're looking at a live shot there from the lobby of Confederation Building, where you can see a few Liberal candidates and supporters. They're busy gathering. Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Peter Cowan.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes. Any moment now, the provincial election will be called.
Live at 6, we'll be speaking to the province.
How do you feel right now?
Yeah. Feeling great. Ready. We're ready. We'll be speaking to the province at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
That's Dwight Ball about an hour ago leaving Government House. Now I wonder what he could be doing there. Well, of course, he was making the official visit to the Lieutenant Governor to dissolve the legislature and issue the writs.
And we'll bring you Dwight Ball's speech just ahead, and we'll hear from PC leader Ches Crosby at the Tory headquarters.
Plus, we're live in Labrador tonight, where Anthony Germain is going to be talking to people about what they want to see during this election campaign.
But we start with Katie Breen, who's live at the big announcement. Katie?
That's right, live in the Confederation Building, where just outside the Liberal campaign bus has pulled up, big red bus with Dwight Ball's face on it, the slogan, clear direction, proven leadership. The people behind me now, here for the election announcement. May 16th is the date. The Premier is just about to take the stage. You can hear it really ramping up here now. So let's listen in on what exactly it is he has to say.
Well, thank you. Today, the writ has been dropped for the 2019 election. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians will go to the polls on May 16th. For months, there's been talk about an election. I've been challenged by many, but at all times, I've remained committed to first delivering key parts of our plan for the people of the province. I felt strongly that there were issues to be addressed, and we have addressed them. We now have a plan to protect residents from the cost impacts of Muskrat Falls. And no rates will not double. We have made auto insurance affordable. We're putting more needed hospitals, long-term care facilities, and schools in place. We recently delivered a guaranteed $2.5 billion revenue stream for current and future generations through the Atlantic Accord. That brings us to a critical time in the history of our province. We are turning a corner towards a brighter future. It is a future made possible by our plan, The Way Forward. And as a result of our plan, we have seen significant improved provincial budgets, 9 consecutive months of employment gains. Newfoundland and Labrador will lead the country in GDP in 2019. We have seen billions of dollars invested in growing industries in Newfoundland and Labrador. We have seen a better approach to mental health and addictions. We've seen a better approach to education and a better approach to building infrastructure in our province. Thank you. And most importantly, we have seen our province become a better place to live, to work, and to raise a family. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now seeking a mandate from the people of our province to continue our plan. Our plan to keep building a bright future for our children. I am both a father and a grandfather. And like people watching at home, it's important to me that our young people feel confident that they can pursue their goals in the province that we all love. And I am proud to work with a group of people and our government. And yes, there has been challenges. But I want to thank every one of my colleagues for their contributions to that good work. Our team is ready to build on our success. Now, we know there is more work to do, and we look forward to an election that will focus on who has a vision for the future of our province. The Way Forward was launched in 2016. It has produced results, and it shows we are growing as a province and as a government. The plan is successful because its foundation is partnerships. We have partnerships with business leaders, with industry leaders, with Indigenous leaders, with labor leaders, with cultural leaders, and with community leaders. But now, Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are facing a stark choice in this upcoming election. It's onward or backward. The PCs have offered nothing in the way of a plan. All we have seen from them is backward thinking that would result in hundreds of millions of dollars in cuts in health care and education. A plan to raise power rates to 17 cents per kilowatt hour. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, they can't afford that. In fact, Ches Crosby said just this afternoon that cutting health care would be a good place to start. Wow. Well, Ches, I don't share that view. Our future is about more than that. And we have seen nothing else from other parties either. So to the people of our province, I look forward to meeting you in your communities and taking our clear plan to your doorsteps. This is a time for proven leadership. It's a time for clear direction. We cannot go backward. We must move onward. Thank you. We've got some driving to do.
And with that, he's no longer Premier Dwight Ball, he's Liberal leader Dwight Ball as the campaign to the 2019 election begins. Of course, this party brought in its budget just yesterday, but it's now clear that that budget will not be passed. It's going to be more of a Liberal roadmap as they head into the campaign. Now, reporter Garrett Berry is over at the PC headquarters where it's expected that leader Ches Crosby is going to be giving a similar type of speech. And Garrett, what's happening over there at PC headquarters?
Yeah, well, we're just getting underway here tonight. An MHA or a challenging MHA is on the stage and she's speaking, and leader Ches Crosby is going to speak in just a few moments here. And his PC party has a bit of a tough task ahead of him. He does not have, at this point, all candidates in place in the 40 ridings across this province, but he is promising that he will have so, or the party will have so rather, by the time that the voting starts, and we now know the date of that voting on May 16th. The party has also promised that they're going to implement a new budget. You heard reporter Katie Breen talk about the Liberal budget. Well, that's not going to get passed anymore. The Liberals have the opportunity to put that budget back for the House of Assembly, but PC leader Ches Crosby says he's going to put his own budget forward if he wins power in this election. Now, Crosby is trying to do something pretty rare in this province. Not only have voters here been reluctant to try to oust a sitting government. That's only happened a handful of times. They've been even more reluctant to put out a premier who voted or who won an election last time. You have to go all the way back to the days of Joey Smallwood to find a premier who won the previous election and then lost the next one. If you're wondering what this campaign is going to be fought about, well, you heard Liberal leader Dwight Ball talk about health care, and now we're going to hear Ches Crosby. He's going to take to the stage right now. I'm going to get out of the shot right here.
And our next premier, Ches Crosby.
I want to say thank you to Jillian, and I hope I live up to the billing. And thank you, everybody in the room. PCs all. Thank you, supporters. Thank you. Today, the date approaches when the people will have a choice as to their future. The choice is clear. Another 4 years of dithering Dwight Ball's promise breaking, issue avoidance, and playing puppet to Trudeau's puppet master, or the Ches Crosby PC team that will keep our promises and stand up for our province. Making the truth that there is no fight in Dwight a memory of the past. We will listen as we lead, but we will lead. It was Dwight Ball who drove me to enter politics. The premier of 100 promises and 300 tax increases. As premier, I will defend our offshore rights, and I will make equalization fair, and I will tax Quebec power. Ottawa and Quebec City will learn that the days of no fight in Dwight are gone, and you don't mess with Ches. In this election, our party will be offering jobs and hope to restore confidence in our future and keep our young people here, an affordable future, and honest leadership with plans to restore trust and accountability in government. Today, Newfoundland and Labrador has a spending crisis. It has a crisis of confidence, and it has a leadership crisis. But I see a future where once again, have not will be no more. We have the natural resources, the people, and the know-how, and all we need is the leadership. The chance to provide that leadership is a sacred trust to deliver jobs and hope, an affordable future, and honest leadership. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, we can always be better. And with your help, we will be. I want to make this a province which is a better place to live with a brighter future. And it starts now. Thank you.
Not not a huge crowd here in the St. John's campaign launch, but certainly a loud one, as you just heard. Now, there was another area where the leader made some news today, some policies that he's promising. He promised to reporters today a pretty big shakeup to the way that healthcare spending is managed in this province. Think a quasi-judicial review board like the Public Utilities Board, but focused on healthcare spending. It will be tasked certainly with cutting spending because as leader, he has already said that's something that he'd like to have done. He told reporters today there's a lot of waste in the healthcare system. Just one of the areas that we're going to be hearing from both leaders in the weeks to come. Reporting live for Here Now, I'm Garrett Barry in St. John's.
So it begins.
And interesting, yeah, some of those slogans that this will probably not be the last time you hear those.
Yes.
Yes for chess.
No fight in Dwight.
Yep.
Onward, not backward.
And it's interesting that both of the leaders talked about the other guy is going to be the guy who's going to take us backwards. So it'll be interesting. And already we heard both the leaders, they're talking about healthcare. So, you know, we've got the PCs saying we're spending too much, and already the Liberals attacking them for that. So
I got some boos from the MHAs behind them there.
Exactly. So we're going to have 4 weeks of this because that election date, just to recap, May 16th. And if you're curious, that's actually a longer campaign than we had last year. An extra week, last year. Just feels like last year.
4 weeks total?
Yeah, 4 weeks total instead of 3 weeks in 2015.
Yeah, and now last night, multiple sources told CBC that May 15th would be the election day, but the earliest an election can be is 28 days after the writ is issued, which just happened this evening. So that would make the earliest election day, as we said, Thursday, May 16th. Well, still with election news, for some, entering the political fray is not only a leap of faith, it also means accepting an uphill battle against long-established personalities and parties with deep pockets. C's Hair checked in with 2 new candidates earlier today to see how they're preparing.
These candidates are not that well known. One is from the NDP and the other is from the newly formed NL Alliance. And I asked them what it was like entering politics, going up against the big names, big parties, and big political machines.
Well, you know, we are getting ready, and I won't say frantically, but you know, there's only so much time, and there's a lot of people that we need to be in contact with to let them know about me. So it's all about connecting with people in the district, either by phone or in person, how to reach them. But all the ways you need to do that involves so much setting up computers and internets and maps and volunteers. So it's this crazy scramble to be organized really, really soon.
Yeah, so really, you know, it's certainly going to be an uphill challenge. We certainly don't have the resources to bear that sitting parties, established parties have. Probably do some brochures, probably not the glossy kind that have already been sent out by people that are already established. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a David and Goliath story here. You know, they're driving up with these big fancy buses. You know, I'll be driving around in my little SUV. I'll be using my own time off in order to be able to campaign, use my own annual leave. I'll be using some of my own resources to get signage and some brochures and stuff like that.
Both of the candidates say, despite their challenges, it is important to give voters an option and send a message to the established parties that the status quo is not good enough. C's Hair, CBC News, St. John's.
Interestingly, the Liberals have all their candidates in place. Some of the other parties still trying to fill a few spots. But even without everyone in place, there are still a few races that we've started to keep our eye on. So let's give you an idea of 3 of the interesting ones that are shaping up. St. John's Centre. It was held by the NDP, Jerry Rogers. She's not running again. This time it's Jim Dinn. You may recognize him. He's a former union leader with the Teachers Union. He's running for the party against another recognizable name, Jonathan Galgay, who's running for the PCs, and Seamus O'Keefe, who used to run the George Street Association. He's running under the Liberal banner. Taking a look at St. John's East Kitty-Vitty, that was Lorraine Michael, who held it for the NDP. She isn't running again. And the new NDP leader, Alison Coffin, is hoping to keep it in the party. But she's up against George Murphy, who used to be an NDP MHA. This time, though, he's running for the Liberals. And taking a look outside the overpass, well, we have a rematch forming up in Harbour Grace, Port-de-Grave. Pam Parsons is the incumbent there. Last time she ousted Glenn Littlejohn as MHA, but he's back again for a rematch. So we'll be keeping an eye on those races as they shape up.
All right, and some interesting news from the oil and gas industry. ExxonMobil and Equinor have been given permission to drill exploration wells off eastern Newfoundland. Now, the companies have waited more than 2 years for the approval that came today from the Federal Environmental Assessment Agency. In total, the two companies will be allowed to drill more than 40 wells.
Coming up, of course, you heard the man, Dwight Ball. He wasn't just the Premier, he's also the guy who took on Indigenous Affairs. We're going to talk about how those issues will play out in election 2019.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Order your tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Well, the campaign buses are off and rolling, and it looks like they're going to need some snow tires in parts of the province.
Especially in the Gander area.
Yeah, especially today. This was the scene again. About 15 centimeters of snow last time I checked, probably a couple more since then. Yeah, not exactly what you expect to see April 17th.
Yeah.
Oh, we still have May 24th weekend to get through without snow. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
That's still more than a month away, so yeah, we need to remind ourselves what spring actually looks like in Newfoundland and Labrador.
And pretty blustery in St. John's today, too. A few flurries and lots of wind.
And I guess a lot of people at this point are wondering, like, they're fed up. Do I actually have to shovel this out of my driveway, or is Mother Nature going to take care of it for me?
The good news is if you can put up with it for the next little bit, at least a couple, well, let's say 12 hours, it should melt. So that's good news. We're up to temperatures this weekend look mighty warm, but we'll definitely get into that. First, we're going to talk about the next 24 hours. So this morning woke up to temperatures between -2 and 0 degrees for the most part across most of the province. A little bit cooler in Lab City at -8. The highs didn't move much, sitting above 0 today. And then we've seen those temperatures drop since then. So about 5 degrees in Lab City right now, 3 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and then those temperatures sitting near or just below 0 for most of the island. Now, factor in that wind chill, though. We're talking about those strong winds. It's feeling closer to -8 in St. John's, -10 in Bonavista, Twillingate, feeling closer to -12. Certainly not what we expect for April, or the middle of April anyway, but if we take a look at the setup, we're starting to see that northerly flow, which we talked about, and that's why we're seeing everything change over to snow and did through the day today. It's showing up as rain on the radar for the Avalon, but that is a wet snow, and we'll continue to see that snow as we head through the night tonight. Otherwise, we do have some wind warnings in place for Bonavista North, as well as the Bay of Exploits. Gusts between 80 to 100 kilometers per hour. They will slowly diminish as we head through the night tonight. And you can see that on the future tracker, added those winds in there. So gusting somewhere between 50 and 70 kilometers per hour as we head through the overnight. And then still going to hang on to some gusty winds for the Avalon and the northeast coast, but that will ease as we head towards the morning hours. And with that, we're going to see some clearing skies. So all of that snow or flurry activity that's happening for Central and the Avalon will either see some freezing drizzle or flurries through the overnight. By morning, things should taper off. So here's a look at where we should be sitting as our overnight lows. -5 for Corner Brook, clearing skies, as I mentioned. Same for Portabasket, -3. Flurries possible for Marystown, and then same for the Avalon at -2 overnight tonight. Labrador should be clear skies for the most part. Lab City -11 tonight, winds near about 15 kilometers per hour. Northwesterlies along the southeastern coast for the Straits, sitting around -6 overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, high pressure is going to dominate it. Kept the winds on here for you. You can see still blustery, so somewhere between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour for the first half of the day. And then eventually, as that high pressure moves in, those winds will ease. Start to see some more cloud cover push in for Western Labrador towards the evening and overnight hours, and then some snow right along with that. So here's a look at the temperatures tomorrow. A couple degrees warmer for tomorrow. Again, that risk of flurries in the morning, and then we should see clearing skies for the second half of the day. Marystown should reach a high near 5 degrees. Now, as we get a little bit further west, we're going to see some warmer temperatures, so likely 8 degrees is your afternoon high for Grand Falls, Windsor. Between 4 and 5 along the west coast. Plenty of sunshine, and then St. Anthony hovering around the 2-degree mark. Those winds will ease through the day. And then look at these temperatures for Labrador. Well above 0, 7 degrees for Happy Valley Goose Bay, 5 for Lab City. Again, we'll see that snow move in late day. So that's a look at your forecast. Like I said, we've got warmer temperatures to round out the weekend. I'll have all those details coming up.
Well, certainly Anthony will be happy to hear that in Happy Valley Goose Bay. To some other news now, Ottawa and the provinces have inked a 9-year deal that will see the two governments improve affordable and social housing in Newfoundland and Labrador. The $270 million will be spent on building housing units as well as renovating existing homes to make them more energy efficient or make them accessible. Choices for Youth is one of the organizations that's excited about this morning's announcement.
which need in our province, but not just in St. John's and surrounding areas. One of the things we do know is that at least 50% of those individuals are from other parts of the province. So how do we begin looking at what support and affordable housing looks like in central Newfoundland, West Coast, Labrador, which is, we all know, is a whole other world when it comes to addressing the Aboriginal needs and cultural, needs of those communities as well.
And as you just heard, housing is a big concern in Labrador, and that's where Anthony is this week. He joins us now from Happy Valley Goose Bay, where, like here, people have the election on their minds. Anthony?
And certainly that is the case, and I'm here now with Eugene Hart. We're going to talk about housing right off the bat, obviously an important issue. Give me a sense of why housing is so important in a place like Sheshatshiu.
Well, Sheshatshiu is a growing community of population of 2,000, and the population is just expanding like crazy fast.
A lot of babies.
A lot of babies. There's about, when you count it through last 5 years, just 50 babies every year.
Right, in a town of 2,000 or almost 2,000 people?
Yeah,
or
just about 2,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So the need for housing, how would you describe it?
Well, our waiting list for housing is 140 families on the waiting list. So we actually did our own homework, and last year we awarded 32 homes in the community from our own revenue, not through the government.
Right. Now, I think a lot of people watching sort of get confused about Indigenous issues, think, a lot of that is a federal jurisdiction. Here we are in a provincial election campaign now. What's your sense, Chief, of what the province needs to do in the years to come, and how should they approach voters in this campaign?
Well, when you look at it at the end of the day, we all go to our jobs every day, and we all try to achieve something every day in our own jobs. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, we do serve our own people, and you don't have to be a minister or a prime minister to know what you're dealing with any round of a day. It's just that you're dealing with your own hometown. So for me, I know what's going on in my hometown and what the needs are, and I think they should be aware, very clear, what our needs are. I don't think that the word is out there.
Yeah, and the politician who's been responsible for Indigenous affairs has been now former Premier Dwight Ball, as we're in the sort of the electoral period. What other issues are big? Obviously, there was a big issue with children as well, right?
Well, children in care, we're starting to sort that out on ourselves. But like everything, we got to meet them halfway. Like everything that we achieved or accomplished in our own district is not because like they helped us along the way. We met with them. We met them halfway, and we had to do our own homework as well to get to where we are.
And of course, we'll see what happens with an inquiry, I suppose, after the election. One last question for you, Chief. We have a system, of course, with many, many districts. There are only a handful here in Labrador. Yeah. Is there a challenge making Indigenous issues count? When politicians are after votes, how do you make people who aren't Indigenous care about Indigenous issues?
I think at the end, like, you need to speak from your heart. I'm like, when I go around and campaigning myself, I don't speak from a book, or it's how you approach people. It's how you sound so success, like it's actually going to happen. Like so far, there's talk, but it's not on the table.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. There's nothing written in stone. And
you know the expression, right?
Yeah.
Money talks.
Oh yeah, money talks, but there's no action. Yeah.
Listen, Chief, all the best. I have a feeling we'll be talking to you again, and no doubt politicians will be knocking on your door.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody called you yet?
Not yet, no.
All right. It's early in the evening. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll have more stories from Labrador a bit later in Here and Now.
Thanks. Good.
The St. John's Edge are getting ready to start a second round series here at Mile One Center over the weekend.
It's a grueling 5 games. Every game was close.
I'm Jeremy Eaton. I checked in with the team, and I'll have that story coming up.
Welcome back. An update now on a long-abandoned building in Churchill Square. Developers want to build a 6-story building here where a grocery store and dry cleaners used to operate. Monday night, St. John City Council voted to send the developer's plan to a public meeting. The building is owned by Loblaws. Its agent, KMK Properties, is proposing a mixed-use building. Commercial on the ground floor and residential apartments on the top 5 floors. The proposal calls for some underground parking and use of 80 spaces in the Churchill Square area.
Well, still in St. John's, the city says it's working hard to fix its troubled downtown parking system. This week, St. John's issued a request for proposals for a new supply of cashless parking meters and pay stations. The city says it's lost almost $3 million in revenue due to vandalism and thefts at meters in the past few years. So the city says it's going to try to go to a system that doesn't accept cash for at least a year, starting this coming fall.
The first year of the new hardware will be cashless, mainly because we want to see how well it works within the city, and we've had tremendous issues with vandalism, to the point of as soon as we have cash in the meters, people start beating their heads.
Well, now to local sports news. The St. John's Edge is limping into the second round of the NBL Canada playoffs. The team has suffered a number of injuries in its grueling series with Sudbury, but they hope a week off will help the Edge rest up and recover. Here Now's Jeremy Eaton has that story.
An emotional win in Game 5 over the weekend at Mile 1 has given the team a much-needed break. With Game 1 of the next playoff series happening on Saturday, the team has time to heal.
Grueling 5 games, every game was close series, so getting our guys healthy, and we watched some film the last couple of days and just diving into what Kitchener does and how we can attack them offensively and how we're going to guard them defensively.
A big part of Sunday's win was this guy, Murphy Bernatowski. The Canadian led all scorers in the game with 25 points.
They definitely made us pay a couple of those games, and it was a grind out, but we ended up getting the upper hand, and it worked out for us.
The other plus is that the team is going against Kitchener-Waterloo, meaning the Edge have home court advantage, so no travel this week.
Sleeping in our own beds, having our med staff here, getting our guys treated. But at the end of the day, Kitchener's playing the best basketball in the league at this time. Over the last 6 weeks, they've been playing the best basketball in the league. They're a hungry team. They're a tough team.
The biggest question mark hangs over the head of Carl English. Today, he took part in full contact practice, but practice and the playoffs are two different things.
He's going to make the decision after, we played live today, played live yesterday. He's going to make the decision himself. Our med staff has kind of said, it's up to you. You're 8 weeks post-op now, so if you're ready to go, you make the decision. But as of right now, when we're talking, he's on the inactive list.
The St. John's Edge and the KW Titans will play a best 4 out of 7 series, with the first 2 games being played here on Mile 1. And for the thousands of fans who will show up here over the weekend, many of them will be hoping that local hero Carl English will be in the lineup. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the Growlers pulled off a win in double overtime last night against the Brampton Beast. The Growlers were down 2-0 throughout the game, but tied it and then forced the Beast into 2 overtime periods. Hometown players Zach O'Brien then scored the winning goal. The Growlers now lead the best of 7 series 3-0. Game 4 is tomorrow night in Brampton.
Women's issues in Labrador, they're a bit different than they are on the island. How will they fit into election 2019? Stay tuned.
We have seen billions of dollars invested in growing industries in Newfoundland and Labrador. We have seen a better approach to mental health and addictions. We've seen a better approach to education and a better approach to building infrastructure in our province.
Ottawa and Quebec City will learn that the days of no fight in Dwight are gone, and you don't mess with chess.
Well, whether you mess with chess or whether there's a fight with Dwight, those two gentlemen certainly talk about the economy and money and infrastructure, but where do they stand on women's issues in this election? Well, our next guest is going to talk about that. Raylene Vickers advocates for women here in Labrador. So, Raylene, what do you want to see from politicians in this election campaign?
I really want to see a commitment to women in general and women and children. We make up at least 50% of the population, and different issues affect women and children in very different ways. So I'd love to see a commitment to looking at policy and legislation through a gender-based analysis and really digging in to make sure that we can improve the lives and safety of women.
All right. Now, I think we certainly have seen a spotlight on the entire issue of violence against women, certainly on the island. Here in Labrador, are there any sort of features of life in the big land that make women's issues different that politicians need to be aware of?
Well, in particular, especially with violence against women, we do have a large Indigenous base here, and we know that violence impacts them at disproportionate levels. And we're also in a very large geographic area where, especially on the North Coast and South Coast, those communities are small and rural and remote, and the ability for women to flee violence in those communities are very different from being able to flee them in communities across the province.
Yeah, I guess in some of those communities, a woman could be trapped.
Of course. So when you're looking at being able to flee, is there availability of housing? If you want to be near your family, are you able to find housing in a spot that's going to be safe and secure and adequate? And the issue of in those small communities, your abuser is still going to be in that community. So these are all the different complexities that I hope that the political parties are going to be thinking about in terms of this election.
I think I know, particularly for women who advocate on behalf of women's issues, there's always a hope in the campaign, given, as you said, that women make up more than half the population, that somehow that women's voices are going to be mobilized. As a political bloc, can women have much impact on this election?
Oh, of course. We make up a huge chunk of the population, and we need to be looking at things like pay equity. I mean, we have one of the largest pay gaps in the country, and this impacts our economy as it is. If you raise the minimum wage and you make sure that there's affordability, then more women are contributing to the economy, more women are able to leave abusive situations and secure housing, give back to or work back in the community, and then you avoid issues, especially here, in terms of children coming into the care of the province because of abusive situations happening in the home where women aren't able to leave because they want to stay with their children or there's no housing for them to leave with their children. And when we look at a place like Labrador where we have a large number of our Indigenous children being placed on the island and taken away, and considering the history of our province with colonization and the 60s scoop and residential schools, this is a huge impact. So if we can focus on real legislative changes that can help improve the lives of women and their children, then we can improve Newfoundland as a whole.
Well, listen, Raylene, certainly you raised them. It'd be interesting to see if the politicians take you up and what women do during the campaign. Of course, we're just starting day one. No doubt we'll be talking about women's issues. I certainly hope we are. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
All right, that's Raylene Vickers. Well, I'm Anthony Germain here in Happy Valley Goose Bay, Peter Cowan's old stomping grounds. Whether it's here in the big land or on the island, here we go. Election 2019 has begun.
Thanks, Anthony. And jealous of the sunshine you've got there, because, yeah, don't get nearly as much of that here in St. John's.
It still looks cold, though. Lots of snow.
They're getting 7 degrees, though, tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so tomorrow is going to be the first full day of official campaigning.
And interestingly, we've already heard from Ches Crosby that he's not going to be campaigning on Good Friday, on Easter Sunday, or on Easter Monday.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
a bit of an ease into the campaign. If you're already feeling a bit politics overload with the election and the budget and everything, good news. You might get a little break on the weekend. Well, before we get to the weather, we have a close encounter to report from Bateau in southern Labrador. Check this out.
Wow, that is close. Carrie Dyson and her husband were rattled when this polar bear decided to camp out outside their cabin. They say they scared off another pair of polar bears earlier, but this bear wouldn't budge.
Yeah, not even warning shots from a shotgun could scare him off.
Eventually, he did take off, but not before taking a chunk out of their snowmobile seat. Yeah, that was apparently like just one chomp. They say this is the 4th bear they've seen. So yeah, bear season in southern Labrador for sure.
I don't know how I'd be nervous if that thing was outside my house.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
So looking at the long range now, some nice weather coming.
For the weekend, come on, long weekend.
Yeah, it's the question that everybody's been asking because we've been hinting at these warmer temperatures as we head towards the long weekend. So if we take a look at what's going to happen through the day on Friday. Now, for the most part, we're going to see some increasing cloud through the day, and you can see it looks like a little bit of a mess is going to move through. So Friday, right now, looks like we can start as snow and then transition through to potentially some freezing rain again. And then temperatures are really going to warm up. Eventually, as we get into that southerly flow again, we should see things change over to rain. Now, that system moves out of the way quite quickly on Friday. In behind that, we should see some clearing skies overnight into Saturday morning. Going to hang on to that chance of showers, mainly for the south coast and eastern Newfoundland as well. So here's a look at your Friday forecast. Temperatures sitting between around 8 degrees for the Avalon for the most part. Likely going to see some peaks of sun with that potential for some showers. Corner Brook, 4 degrees, generally gray skies. So you can see temperatures cooling as we head towards the west coast. And then up through Labrador, another day sitting above 0. Between 3 and 4 degrees for western Labrador. Heading towards the coast, those temperatures will be sitting around 2 degrees. Still looking at that potential for flurries and then likely changing over to showers through the evening. So here's a look at your Saturday morning. As far as the future tracker goes, get really into that southerly flow. Warm air really pushing in through the day. Going to hang on to that chance of showers. Anything north of that boundary, we're likely going to see plenty of sunshine but cooler temperatures. And then into Sunday is when we'll start to get a push of warm air further north into the afternoon, again with that chance of showers. The island looks like it'll be more of a scattered showers through the day. And then again on Monday, this looks like the best day by far for the long weekend, looking at that potential for some peaks of sun and then that push of warm air up through Labrador again with some more showers through the day. So here's a look at your forecast. It looks pretty good. So Thursday, or tomorrow rather, some morning flurries and then eventually going to see those clearing skies. Friday is when that rain will push in. Winds will pick up as well. Stay windy through Saturday, but look at those temperatures, 12, 15, 17 by Monday with plenty of sunshine. So that's certainly good news there. Those overnight lows pretty much between 5 and 8 degrees. Central Newfoundland, plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Should reach a high near 8 and then 7 on Friday as that rain moves in. Breezy conditions on Saturday, 14, 19 by Sunday, and 21 by Monday. But again, we're going to see some breezy conditions. So it'll feel a couple of degrees cooler than that. But other than that, beautiful afternoon expected. Western Newfoundland, 5 degrees tomorrow. Breezy on Friday. Rain right through Sunday, it looks like. And then finally going to see a break in that with some sunshine on Monday and 17 degrees. Now up through Labrador, lovely as well. So 7 tomorrow, 6 by Saturday, and then Sunday and Monday look like we should reach the double digits with that potential for some rain. And then for Western Labrador, same thing, 10 degrees by Sunday, Monday, sitting around 7. So let's look at the forecast. Looking ahead even more so, temperatures are really looking to warm up. So certainly good news, but I'll definitely have your weather photo when I come back. Carolyn?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, moving to the States now, where a teen accused of threatening Columbine High School just days before the 20th anniversary of the massacre there has been found dead. Police say she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
We are used to threats, frankly, at Columbine. This one felt different, it was different, and it certainly had our attention.
18-year-old Sol Paez was said to be infatuated with Columbine. She traveled to Colorado Monday from her home in Florida and immediately bought a shotgun. That triggered a huge police manhunt and the cancellation of all classes at Columbine and more than 20 other schools in the area. Saturday will mark 2 decades since 2 Columbine students were on a shooting spree, killing 12 schoolmates and a teacher before taking their own lives.
Well, back here at home, Alberta is back in the blue. Jason Kenney and his United Conservative parties won a majority government in yesterday's provincial election after a campaign dominated by talk of Alberta's struggling economy.
Albertans have elected a government that will be obsessed with getting this province back to work.
Kenney is promising to shore up Alberta's oil industry by fighting Ottawa on issues like pipelines and the carbon tax. As for outgoing Premier Rachel Notley, she won her Edmonton riding, and she says she will stay on as NDP Leader of the Opposition. Her defeat leaves Canada with no female premiers.
Well, this was the scene yesterday morning. Some fog and beautiful, now sometimes the freezing rain leaves for some beautiful photos, and this certainly was one of them. I'll tell you where this photo was taken when we come back.
Welcome back. Well, people strolling along Vancouver's seawall yesterday.
Yeah, they were treated to an unusually close encounter with a pod of orca whales. Look at them there.
Yeah, many captured this on camera, a pod of orcas swimming by. Orcas typically travel in pods of 5 or more.
And it seems like there were more than 5 that were tagging along, putting on the show there. It's unclear whether or not these whales are part of BC's endangered southern resident orcas. But a bonus, you get to see them without even going on a whale watching tour.
Beautiful creatures.
Now, we don't see any whales here.
No. Not yet.
It would be very unusual because that looks like Kitty Vitty.
It is. It is Kitty Vitty. I just love that photo because, like I said, beautiful when it's foggy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the freezing rain.
Yeah, and the freezing
coating
rain.
the trees.
Yeah, gorgeous. Thank you so much, Charlie Butt, for sending that photo in. If you have any weather photos you'd like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Excellent.
All right. Well, that's it for this edition of Here and Now. It's going to be busy times ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, busy night with all the election news and busy for a couple of weeks.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.